Welcome, one and all, to Old School Lane Reads. Tonight's reading is Things I Can't Explain, a Clarissa novel written by Mitchell Kriegman. Tonight's reading is brought to you by oldschoollane.blogspot.com. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter at Patty_B_Miranda, and check out our archived podcasts on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Overcast, and more. And now, Things I Can't Explain, a Clarissa novel. Chapter 2. Okay, he was here yesterday. I know because I was going to tell him I really liked the Sex Pistols songs that was playing on his vintage mini boombox, but since that felt outside of the realm of micro-appropriate chit-chat, I resisted. I'd taken the familiar gleam of the stainless steel carapace and the espresso machine that looked like something Jules Verne might have used to travel to the center of the earth. I once heard CCG telling the customer in front of me that he cobbled it together himself using parts from a bunch of obsolete Italian espresso makers. He called it Frankensteam, which I thought was mocha clever. I glanced at the stacks of beige cardboard cups emblazoned with the little establishment's name, Where Have You Been All My Life? I think, as I always do, that name is too long. My alternative, shorter, simpler name is Where Have You Been, is what I think it should have been called. I repeatedly say it to myself like a prayer, or like someone with a compulsive disorder because the only question going through their mind is, where the hell are you now? CCG is MIA, and there was a ridiculously skinny girl with a fluffy white blonde bob haircut dispensing Java in his place. What happened? Did he get a job at another coffee cart elsewhere in town? Did he return home for a family crisis? Does he have a family? And why didn't I ever ask him? Why did I have to be so damn faithful to the rules of micro-interaction? If I had taken the time to investigate, I might have had a clue as to where he is, and why he's gone, and why I have to be ordering my coffee from a macro stranger with dandelion fluffer hair. I approached the cart at a march, determined to get answers. She looks up at me, smiling through her orange lipstick. Coffee, tea, decaf, espresso, or latte? Where's CCG? I blurted mindlessly. She fiddles with her wispy white bangs, which have snagged on her eyebrow ring. I'm not sure. Is CCG that marketing company on the 4th floor, or is it the modeling agency on the 25th? She replies with airheaded innocence. And as she smiles at me, she reveals a metal stud the size of a garbanzo bead lodged in the center of her tongue. Okay, first of all, ouch. And second of all, I understand piercing is a rite of passage, a celebration of survival and a sexual turn-on for some. But I've had enough trouble keeping track of my earring backs. What if you lose the one on your tongue stud? Can you say choking hazard? But none of that is important right now, is it? The guy who usually works here, I explained to Fluffy, my new default barista, to whom I've taken an immediate dislike. Is he around? Oh, him? Fluffy bobs her bob. Yeah, he's here. He just stepped away to make a phone call. I'm filling in. I let out a sigh of relief so great I scatter a stack of unbleached paper napkins. The girl looks at me funny, so by way of explanation I fib. He owes me money. No way! She looks at me suspiciously. I don't blame her. Why did I say that? Then I see him, making his way back to the cart from the opposite side of the cavernous lobby. CCG, and all of his espresso-scented splendor. I take in the familiar shape of his broad shoulders beneath his 1,000 times washed Where Have You Been shirt. See, it definitely works better shortened. That fits him perfectly as always. His tousled hair looks, well, tousled, but in a manner that is more about careless style than unkempt laziness. When CCG sees me standing in his cart, he smiles in that shy way of his. He selects a chocolate almond biscuit from a tray and hands it to Fluffy. I can't keep myself from thinking puppy treats. Thanks for covering, Clem, he says. I can tell this slender little pincushion of a girl is half in love with him. She bats her blue mascaraed lashes and giggles. Any time. I think I might be sick, but hold myself together. She lingers for a moment, gives me a quizzical look, and finally turns, heading for the elevators. Clementine works for some accounting firm on the 8th floor, CCG explains, plucking a cup from the cardboard tower. I don't know why I'm startled by his soft voice. It's slow up there, so I call her whenever I need to sneak off for a bit. He nods towards the tray of cookies. I pay her a biscotti. Works for both of us. It occurs to me that although I've probably purchased 2,000 cups of coffee from CCG, this is more than he's ever said to me at one time. It's a clear violation of the microcode. But today I'm thinking, screw it. I really like his voice, especially when he says whole sentences. I like that even though he's super shy, he's making an effort to look at me in the eye and actually succeeding. And those soft indigo eyes. Why didn't we attempt this 1,500 cups ago? Gotta love a good old-fashioned barter system, I say. CCG positions the small cup under the spigot and presses the handle. The carafe releases a stream of fresh coffee. I inhale deeply as he hands me the cup. Feeling a tingle of warmth rush through me that has nothing to do with the hot beverage, I'm clutching. I make a decision. Today is the day I'm gonna kick it up a notch. After all, if some snotty little 7th grade slutling can put the moves on her science teacher and Miss Fluffy can bat her eyelashes for biscotti, I can certainly get my flirt on with cute coffee guy, right? I reach into my knockoff Birkin for the $2.29 and hand it over. As I'm doing this, I purposely let my fingers brush against his. It's a calculated maneuver, but it surprises the heck out of him. The good news is that he doesn't withdraw. He actually blushes and grins. Ha! Now I'm feeling downright cocky. I made the coffee guy blush. Thanks, I say in a breathy murmur. Take that, 7th grader, and you too, Clementine. And then I press my lips softly to the rim, and in a dreamy, kiss-like way, I take a cautious sip. I'm careful not to be obvious, keeping the maneuver subtle so that it whispers, "See this cup? This could be you, your lips, your earlobe, or the body of your choice." CCG seems very interested as he watches my lips make contact with the cardboard cup. And why not? There's a reason why this stuff works. This move is right out of the Flirty Girl's Handbook. But apparently he read a page or two of Boy Talk for Beginners, because the next thing he says is, "So, you're a writer, aren't you?" It's my turn to be surprised because our microstatus never allowed me to tell him what I did for a living. But I do realize that since he's seen me scuttling around the lobby after Hugh a zillion times, it wasn't much of a leap for him to arrive at this conclusion. Still, the fact that he noticed is very encouraging. Yes, I am. I smile and take another less prudent sip, and stifle a scream, pretending that the Colombian breakfast blend isn't scorching my throat on its way down. But then something even more amazing happens. Without warning, this shy coffee peddler with the scruffy jaw and the silky indigo eyes takes the notch kicking entirely out of my hands into his own. "So, what's your name?" Whoa, please refer to Rule 1.0 of the Micro-Relationship Code. No names. That's how it works. That's why it works. Distance, anonymity, mystery. Anything less would be, well, something completely different. Which is exactly why I was moving toward, but I'm a little thrown by the fact that he leapfrogged so far ahead of me. Thrown, yes. Displeased? Not even a little bit. CCG was still waiting for me to introduce myself, so I open my mouth and say, "Clarissa!" Wait a minute. That's definitely the correct response, but that's not my voice providing it. Who could be calling my name here? Clarissa! I know that voice. Oh boy, do I know that voice. I whirl away from CCG, hot coffee inadvertently splashing from my cup onto the marble floor in what seems like slow motion. Mental alert. It's always bad luck to spill. What will result from this ominous event? Only misfortune, I fear. But I don't have time to do anything about it. I turn, and there they are. Marshall and Janet Darling, the revolting door spinning behind them. The two people to whom I credit my existence. The official sponsors of my X and Y chromosomes. Too weird. My parents. Shit. Thank you so much for listening to this chapter of Things I Can't Explain, a Clarissa novel written by Mitchell Kriegman. If you want to read the book for yourself, then follow the links in the description for you to pick up a copy, whether it be physical, digital, or audio. Tune in this coming week as we're going to be having a little book club discussing about this chapter. Thank you so much for joining in. Hope to see you next week. Thank you for listening.